I'm Luca from Italy. I work for a Drupal company called Fabric. Here are some of my contacts if you want to say something after the session. Just a couple of words about the company I work for. Fabric is a tech company. We do Drupal development and cloud native infrastructure. So we are partnered with the main public cloud providers. And we are member of some open source foundation, like the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, the Linux Foundation Europe, and so on. So we are very involved in open source community. Okay, let's start with a quick demo. Today we are talking about searching. So this is a standard installation of Drupal 11 with Search API module and Solar integration. So this is made with a standard Solar integration that comes with the Search API Solar module. I have created a content type called post, and I have indexed 25,000 forum posts from the forum of Drupal.org. So I download the question, all the comments for 25,000 posts, and I indexed them into Solar. So for example, if I look for CK editor, okay, and I search for this keyword, the response the page is returned in 174 milliseconds. That is not so bad. If I click on a facet to filter for an author for a blog post, for example, the page reloads and the response is about 160 seconds. Okay, it's good, but we can do better. So let's start with the demo first, and then I explain you how this is done and how this works. In this case, I look for the same keyword, so CK editor. Okay, the response, the page does not reload, is everything on the client side in JavaScript, and the response is returned in 50 milliseconds. It is quite better than 160 milliseconds. Okay, so this is what you want to achieve in this presentation, basically. Also, clicking on a facet, the response time is the same, 18 milliseconds. Okay, so how this works? We are using this software that is called Typesense. Typesense is an open source search engine that is capable of indexing and answer for a search query in a very fast way. It's open source. You can download it from typesense.org. It's free. It's written in C++. It's very active on GitHub. You can self-host it or deploy it on Typesense Cloud on SaaS. It's in contrast to Solar or Elasticsearch, it's very easy to set up. It's just a binary. You run it, and basically that's it. Okay. They have a public roadmap, so you can see the evolution of the software. You can propose new issue or features or whatever. The current version is 27, and every 2 or 3 months we have a new release, basically. So they are working on the version 28. The point, as you know, maybe from the Solar or Elasticsearch systems, Typesense does not provide a UI. You can just talk to it using REST APIs. If you need a UI, you can buy Typesense Cloud, or using this Typesense dashboard, that is a Node.js application that you can run on your local environment to interact with Typesense. The engine itself has a lot of features, what we expect from a modern search engine, like typo tolerance, synonyms, sorting, grouping, faceting, geosearch, and so on. And of course, AI, because everything talk about AI these days. So vector indexing and semantic search is covered as well. We look at that later. Okay. You can interact with the Typesense in many languages if you don't want to use the raw REST APIs. Of course, PHP is one of the languages that they support directly. And it is integrated in many platforms like Laravel, Symfony, and many other more, but not Drupal. It's not available. If you go to the typesense.org webpage, you don't see Drupal listed here, but there's a model for that, of course. That it's called Search API Typesense. It's in beta 1 since Monday, basically. So after this call, probably a call to the maintainer of Typesense to add Drupal in the matrix of supported frameworks. And you can download it from Drupal.org. You must download it using Composer, because we depend on the PHP library, Typesense PHP library to work. Okay. There is an extension, plugin for DDEV to run Typesense on your local environment quite easily. So you can just DDEV get this DDEV Typesense add-on, and you have an instance of Typesense that runs on the Docker stack on your local machine. Okay, then using a standard Search API interface of adding a new server, you can connect to the Typesense server. You need an admin API key that you set up when the server starts. This is the admin API key. You must never share this key with anybody, because allows full access to the server. And then you can insert the list of nodes where your server runs on, because Typesense is distributed, so you can deploy it on more than one instance. And if you are on Typesense Cloud, you can also set the nearest node feature that allows you to contact the Typesense Cloud server that is geographically near to your customers. And you connect your Drupal with Typesense. If you know, if you ever see the Search API admin page, usually we have only view and edit tabs. Okay, with this module enabled, there are some more tabs that you can navigate. The first one is server metrics that show you the CPU and memory and disk occupation of your Typesense instance, okay, in real time, so you can monitor if everything is okay. You can create new API keys to be used for your client application, okay, because you must never use the admin API key. And when you define an API key, you can set which action is allowed for this API key. For example, in this case, document search, and on which collection these actions are allowed. For example, this standard search collection. In Typesense word, a collection is the same as an index on Search API. you can have multiple collection on the same Typesense server. Okay, you can create and manage lists of stop words. So, for example, if you don't want to search for stop words, you can create a stop word set, and then when you search for a keyword, you can say, use this stop word set and don't search for those words. And the latest update is a conversation model. We see it later because it's about semantic search and AI. And okay. As well, on the index section of Search API, there are way more tabs in the interface, other than the standard view, edit, fields, and processors, that allows you to manage other part of this specific collection you have created. In this case, the collection is called Standard Search, and it has 24,393 document indexed. Okay. First of all, you need to add fields to Search API as usual, but you have to specify a specific data type for those fields that comes from Typesense. Okay, here there is a typo because it's not int 36, it's int 32. Okay, so you can specify if your field is a string or is an array of strings, like a taxonomy, for example, a field that contains multiple strings, an integer or a float or a boolean or an array of those types. This is mandatory, otherwise your fields will not index in the Typesense collection. Okay, and then in the schema tab, if you remember, this one of the tab is schema. In the schema tab, you must configure each individual field, and you can say that that field is can be used as a facet, or it's optional, or you want to index it, or just store it and don't use it for search. If you want to make that field sortable, and so on, the language of that fields, and so on. This is mandatory until you don't configure the field section in the schema tab and submit the form. The collection is not created on Typesense, because Typesense needs all those information to work. So if you just, as in standard Search API configuration, create an index and set the fields, it's not enough to complete the configuration. You have to configure the form on the schema tab and submit it. Okay. Of course, Typesense supports typo tolerance out of the box. So if your client, if the user of the search interface makes some mistakes, Typesense is able to find the results as well. For example, if you mistake something, the content is retrieved as well. You can disable the typo tolerance on fields that you don't want to support these features, because maybe are product codes or numbers that usually you want to find only if the user inserted the correct string, like SKU and so on. Okay. Synonyms, you can define directly using the Drupal UI a list of synonyms. So for example, if your customer is usually searching for CMS, but you want to also return results that contains the Drupal term, you can define it. And this is very useful because maybe customers is looking for term different than the one indexed. Sorry. Synonyms can be one way. So if you're looking for CMS, find also document that contains Drupal, or multi-way. So every terms in the synonym set are equivalent. So you're searching for one terms, Typesense will find other other content as well. Okay, faceting is supported out of the box, and it works like a standard facet feature. So it works on strings and array of strings fields, and it's automatically available, and you can use it without any other configuration. So you don't need the Search API facet module, for example, because it works out of the box, just with the Search API and Search API Typesense modules. Okay, one cool feature that Typesense has is merchandising, that is useful for typical e-commerce systems or something like that, where you want to pin a specific set of nodes or products to be returned in a specific position when your customer is looking for a specific keyword. So, for example, in my in my instance, if I look for CK editor, okay, this node 3, 4, 6, whatever, is returned as the third one, okay, because by some ranking algorithms, this is in the third position. But I want to say to Typesense that when my user is looking for CK editor exactly, the node 3, 4, 6, 5, 6, 6 must be returned as the first one, okay, ever. And in this case, after this rule is applied, when user is looking for CK editor, that node is the first one. You can say the individual position for the node you want to promote, and you can also say which node to exclude. So, for example, if a user is looking for CK editor, I don't want this specific node to be returned in the search response, you can exclude it, and it will never be returned. And this is the internal name for these features in Typesense is curation, because you curate your the search result page. This is very interesting feature. Okay. One interesting point is that we are all in the typical Search API setup. The result page is a view, basically. So we create an index and then create a view to return the results. Search API Typesense is not integrated with views, and probably it will never be, okay? Because the main point is that the search is managed on the client side. So it's the browser that directly connect to the Typesense server and perform the search. So we don't need all the Drupal stuck in the middle. And this is one of the point, because the results is much faster than Search API that must contact Drupal, load the view, make the query, render the page, and so on. Okay, but this can slow down maybe the creation of a page, because you have to implement everything, because if you cannot use views, you have to do everything by hand. This is not the case, because this exists in this technology, this application that is called InstantSearch, this library, sorry, that is called InstantSearch. That is an open source UI library to create, used to create search interfaces. That is built by Algolia. That is a big company that provides search engine that is quite expensive. And it's not open source. The UI library they provide to integrate with their server is open source. So the developer of Typesense provides an adapter to use the same InstantSearch widget pointing to a Typesense server. So you can use this adapter. Then you can say the API key, that is one generated using the interface that allows you only to search, probably. And then you insert where the Typesense server is, okay, the host port and so on. and then you can configure your search. And InstantSearch provides a lot of widgets to build search interfaces. For example, the search box or its results, the pagination, the infinite scroll, all the facet support. What we have seen here is done using InstantSearch. It's 30 lines of code, probably. But everything is provided, like the search box, facet support, pagination, search into the facet list. So if you have a lot of facet, you can reduce the list of the facet list. This is all provided by the InstantSearch library. And as you can see here, the module provides an example search page that you can take inspiration from to build your specific front end. And is available in the module itself. Okay. And there is a page on the Algolia documentation website that explain you how to use all the widgets and so on. The usage is the same, and it works with Typesense out of the box. Okay. One interesting question may be, okay, but if it's the browser that directly talks with the server without all the Drupal in the middle, so all the access control of Drupal in the middle, how we can search for private contents. So contents that must be returned only if you have the right to see them, maybe by role or whatever. This can be done using scoped search keys that are keys that you can use in the front-end application that embedded predefined the set of search parameter encrypted. So you can create a list of parameter that say filter by document that have a field called role that is editor. Okay, and this set of parameters is encrypted in a key. You use this key on your client side, and automatically Typesense will filter only documents that match also this set of parameters. So you can do that in the backend, generate those key, send it to the browser, and your user will never found a document for roles different than editor, for example. You can do this with every Typesense library that exists. This example is with the PHP one, but it works also in JavaScript or whatever. So you take a key that has search permission that you generate in the backend, and then you generate a scoped search key that has some search parameter embedded. For example, filter by a field that is called company ID when the value is 124, and you can also set that the key will expire sometime. And so you can share this key on the web without any problem. There is also an interface in the module that you can use to generate scoped search key, probably to test if everything works. But usually you will generate the key on the backend when you return the search page every time it's generated. If you want to try, you can also do using the interface. The generated key it's something like this one, so it's something encrypted. You cannot see or you cannot alter the key itself, so it's safe. Okay. Talking about AI, of course, because right now it's quite standard to require something like semantic search. So not your search engine will return not only pages that contain the specific keyword you're looking for, but pages that semantically are similar to the keywords, you are insert. To do that, you need to generate vectors for your contents with a technique that it's called embedding. So you take your text, send it to some LLM. The LLM will return a huge multidimensional vector of floats that represents the semantic of a chunk of text. Then you index, you add those vectors in your search engine like Typesense. And then when a user is looking for a specific keyword, this keyword is embedded, so it's converted in a huge number of multidimensional arrays of floats, and then with algorithms like cosine similarity, so Typesense is able to find documents that are similar to your search query, but maybe that does not contains the exactly word that you have inserted. In the module, you can say which fields must be used to generate vectors, which LLM model to use. You can use local models or OpenAI or remote models. Of course, local models are it costs less probably, but embedding is a quite cheap operation also for OpenAI, sorry, so you can use it as well. You can set the size of the chunk your text is splitted on, because usually you must convert in vector small chunk of text, because the semantic of a huge text can be different of a semantic of a single chunk of text, and how much one chunk overlaps to the previous one, because maybe a specific concept is in the middle of two chunks, so you don't want to lose that meaning. Okay, but with this configuration, Typesense Search API and the Typesense server automatically create vectors for you, indexed in the documents along the contents. And then, this is the example using REST, but you can do the same using InstantSearch or a library. You can send a query to the server saying that you're looking for some strings, some query, and you're looking for results in the embedding fields. That is a field that contains the vectors. In this case, Typesense is able to return documents that are similar to your search query. Of course, you can also enable hybrid search, so looking for a real keyword field first, and then a semantic field. Probably because if you're looking for a string that contains a name of the product, you will documents nodes that contains the name itself first, and then documents that are similar to the one you're looking for. Okay. After you enabled all the embedding configuration and you have vectors in your Typesense server, you can start to converse with your search engine, basically, using a conversation model. Conversation model is just a prompt that Typesense use to build the query that it sends to some LLM like OpenAI with a set of results retrieved from your index using a technique that is called RAG. Probably you have seen this term before. So this is useful because the customer insert a search query. The search query is used to retrieve some documents from your index. Then that documents are sent with the system prompt to an LLM that will respond only with the knowledge that you send about the document the server found. So you don't need to have a specific LLM that knows about your contents, but the contents is in the prompt itself. In this case, in the Search API Typesense admin, there is a tab that it's called Converse. You can select the conversation model to use, send a question, and Typesense will respond with a human readable response generated by an LLM using the list of nodes that are similar, semantically similar to the question you have answered. So the first thing Typesense does is to look for documents that are similar to how write a Drupal module, that are this list here. Then it took all the text in the module, send to OpenAI, and OpenAI will generate this to write a Drupal module, etc. Okay, and this is called RAG. Basically, this is the explanation of how it works. It's quite typical right now. Okay. At the moment, the module is not complete. It lacks a couple of features. Basically, GeoSearch support, because Typesense is able to search for geographical information. So you can say, this is a latitude and longitude, return all the documents that is 5 kilometers around this point, for example. Another cool feature is called aliases. So you can create an alias to a collection, and then if you need to re-index or change your collection, you can point to the alias, and then when the new collection is ready, switch the alias to point to the new collection without changing your code. You can create a set of search preset with some pre-configured search parameters that can be reused. Another cool feature is called analytics. It allows you to retrieve information about how many queries does not return any results, or something like that. It can be used to tune your configuration, maybe adding synonyms or something that allows your customer to find what they want. At the moment, the module doesn't have any test, and a very basic documentation. So this is the point we are working on. One other feature that we are working on is indexing of attachments. So if your node has some PDF or whatever attached, we are working on a feature that extracts the text from PDF, for example, chunk it, send it to an LLM to be vectorialized, and then you can search in or converse with text in documents. And okay, if you want to contribute to the module itself, maybe tests or just documentation or just trying it out or whatever, join us in the contribution room today, maybe tomorrow, or of course you want to contribute to something else, you're welcome to do that. That's it. Thank you. If you have any question, you can use the microphone. So because it's recorded, so everything is just big.
Thanks for the session. Very interesting. Just to clarify, I was a bit confused. You talked about implementation of analytics in the Search API, and it was listed below the missing features, but you talked as if it was implemented already. So is it there or is it not?
Okay, no, sorry. Typesense provides it. So the Typesense servers provide analytics. The module does not integrate with Typesense APIs to configure or see analytics in Drupal website. Sorry.
So with the RAG, the retrieval augmented generation, is that built into Typesense, and do you need a separate vector database, or is that also built?
Okay, no. Typesense is a vector database, so it's everything in Typesense out of the box. So Typesense is capable to contact an LLM, create vectors, store vectors, do causing similarity by its own. Any other questions? Okay, if you want, I'm here today, tomorrow, so feel free to ask any questions if you want, and thank you again.